Good morning. I'm gonna try my AirPods today, see if we can cut down on a little bit of background noise, especially with the machine running. How is everybody on this beautiful fall Saturday morning? I actually have long sleeves on. Kind of excited. Felt so nice to get in the car this morning, or walk outside really. Helps that I'll tell you honestly, I am exhausted. So it was nice to be smacked with nice cool air when I went outside. So that was wonderful. I am going to post a couple of things here. Those that are not local, if there's anything I talk about embroidery product, I'm posting the links in the comment section for both embroidery online and scissor tail stitches that you can use to purchase any of the product that I have, or you can call me and purchase it directly from me. But if you use these links, it will be just like purchasing from me. I appreciate that. So I just wanted to get those in the comments. I'm gonna try to, since I won't be able to see this screen, I'm gonna try to have another computer sitting here so that I can watch comments and things, trying to sort stuff out today as we work through our second breakfast club that we are gonna do today. We're gonna do some embroidery on paper. Dr. Mike is here early this morning. We're all here getting everything ready. I've been here since 6:30 this morning.
I was here at 6.
So we're getting ready. I've got get finished with this and then jump into my welcome session with my spooky soiree group. And then at 10 o'clock, we kick off Curvy Girls monthly meeting with Bat Moon Rising this morning with our mini quick curve rulers. And I'm gonna take my shoes off so that I'm not so tall here this morning. So we have another busy day, and then I get to go home and clean up the absolute mess that I made last night teaching Cameo. Oh, I have to go to Alexandria first and set up a cabinet. Then I get to go home and clean up the absolute mess that I left from teaching at home last night, and then prepping for my demonstration this morning. So I have every possible crafting tool out and just disheveled. So I'll spend my evening cleaning that up and prepping for next week. So let's go ahead and get started. We are going to talk about today specifically about how to embroider on cards. I'm using the collection, the Holly Jolly greeting card collection from OESD. This collection is a design collection. There are 25 designs in here. Let's see, there's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. I think there's 15 cards, and then 10 additional small single stitch designs that have some really cute uses. So this collection is actually available as a free collection if you purchase $79 from me in OESD product, or online at OESD or Scissor Tail Stitches in product, and you earn this collection for free. This collection will be available to purchase, and you can purchase it if you don't want to earn it for free and don't need other things. But I'm sure you probably need some stabilizer, some thread, some other designs. Why not? So I'm just going to be using the designs from this particular collection. It's a brand new collection. It's been a while since we've had designs for cards, and we're very excited for those. So I thought I would take a minute and show you a couple of the cards that are on the collection. There are 2 size cards in the collection. There is what we call an A6 and an A7 size card. So an A6 is, and believe it or not, I wrote it all down and I can't find it. Go figure. It doesn't happen. It's not just Fridays that I can't find my list. So an A6, I believe, is like we're going to say a 4x6 card. And an A7 is almost a 5x7 card. Right around those sizes. They start with, basically, you start with a blank card. Okay, and in the size, and so there's card designs for both the larger A7 card size and A6 card size. There are a couple of files for that as well. Good morning, everybody. Welcome. Thanks for hanging out with me this morning. I appreciate it. So we're just working with the Holly Jolly greeting card collection. These are going to work with any machine that has a hoop field of 5x7 or larger. Okay, so you have to have the ability to at least stitch a 5x7 in order to do these designs. That's there. We do have, like I said, the project starts with a blank card. We are waiting for the arrival of our cards, our blank cards to arrive. OESD, under their blank slate product category, is going to be putting out blank cards. They are going to come in packs of 10. They're 120-pound paper cards in white. You'll have both that A6 and A7 size. They will also come with 10 80-pound paper envelopes as well for your embroidery. And they've been sourced and everything so that they are the right type and quality to give you nice results in stitching on paper. There are to be available, hopefully, right now it's late September. So hopefully very soon we'll have cards so that you can use. So let me get a couple. These are some of the smaller cards. So this one says Merry and Bright. It says Twinkle All the Way. That's blank. That doesn't do you any good. Some of the bigger designs. We have Christmas tree. Some ornaments. This one. So some use fabric. Okay, there's fabric appliques. We have some that are 100% thread, no fabric at all, which is fine. We used a combination of, like this is cotton, and this one here is a piece of felt. We've used some felt and some cotton that's in it. Now, those were just the cards. Those are just some of the cards. I do have a couple. Hold on, here are the other ones. Okay. So here's Santa. I'm really, really loving this one right here. Okay, it's got a full panel, and then the card itself is kind of framed outside of that panel. This is a piece of felt. Really enjoy those. And we have a little holiday banner as well. And then we have a few more, but I will show you them at the end because I've done some different things with them. So I want you to be able to keep those as a surprise. All right, so let's talk about what you need to embroider on paper. One is a small needle, okay? So embroider on paper, we're looking at a needle like 75 and smaller. I used a 70 on the machine yesterday. Mary Beth used a 70. I didn't embroider the cards yesterday. Mary Beth helped me get out of my hole that I was a little behind, so I was able to get a little bit of sleep last night and not up embroidering for today. So a small needle, 70, 75, even a 65. Now remember, for machines that have needle threaders, when you're getting down to a size 70 needle, your needle threaders may not like threading that small of a needle. I didn't have any problems with the Isacord thread in the 70 needle using a needle threader because it is very fine. But if you are opting to stitch these cards in like cotton thread and things like that, maybe a little bit of a tight squeeze for the thread, because remember, it's going to pull a double strand of thread through the eye of the needle and the needle threader. So it may be a little tight. So just be careful when you're getting down to a needle that small. Embroidering on paper does dull the needle a little bit faster. So it's not going to last you 4 to 6 hours of embroidery. I would probably say maybe maybe 2 or 3 cards, and then you may find that you need to change your needle. We're going to be using stabilizer in the hoop. The stabilizer that I'm going to be using in the hoop is a heavyweight tearaway. Okay, so I've got my hoop here, and I'll turn the camera to the machine in a minute. I have my hoop here. This is my 5x7, okay, hoop field. For the Berninas, it's the oval. It is hooped with 1 layer of heavyweight tearaway stabilizer, okay. The thread that you put in the bobbin is going to be neutral color. It doesn't need to be anything, okay, because nobody's going to see this. I'm going to show you ways to make this disappear on the inside of the card, okay? So neutral bobbin, and to be honest, if you have a bunch of random bobbins that need to be emptied, this may be the perfect place to do it. Spencer, you're going to cover it up. Give me 1 second. I'm going to sneeze. So sorry. All right, so sorry. The bobbin thread in the bobbin can be white, or you can use it to empty some bobbins. In the design collection that comes with the design collection, if you are doing a design that has an applique, okay, these appliques in the cards need to be pre-cut. Okay, so pre-cut, because this is not a trim in place kind of card, because the appliques are being held down with a blanket stitch. Okay, so when you use blanket stitch to hold things down, you really needs to be right at the right size, so that the blanket stitch lands where it belongs, and trimming in place doesn't allow you to trim close enough or to the exact size of it. So things for your appliques for this project are trimmed before you put them in the hoop. So on the PDF file that comes with the designs are all the applique patterns. You want to print those off on your printer, making sure that you set your printer for no scaling, meaning actual size, okay, and so that it doesn't try to shrink these designs, okay. We need them to be the right size. I'm going to take, and you can trace, you need a mirror image. So if you are able to mirror image tell your printer to print a mirror image, you can. If not, when I trace these onto my fusible, I'm going to use the mirror. I'm going to use the back side of the paper, and that will give me my mirror image. Now, I know it's hard to see, but you can see if I would trace from the wrong side of the paper. Use a light box, or Nature's light box is a window with the sun shining through. And so you can just put it up against the window, and you're going to trace your line. Okay. The fusible that I am using is a product called Applique Fuse and Fix. Okay. Comes in packages of 8 by 10, 8.5 by 11 sheets for the it's 8.5 by 11 because you can run this through a printer and you can print onto the paper side. It cannot be run through a laser printer. It has to be run through an inkjet because the heat in the laser printer will activate the glue and you'll have a big hot mess. So you could just print, if you're going to be making lots of them, you could just print them off and they're already here for you. The reason why I use Applique Fuse and Fix is because Applique Fuse and Fix, after you iron it to the wrong side of your fabric and then cut out on the line, okay, so this is the shape that I've already cut out. When I'm ready to use it and I peel the back off, this is sticky. So this is kind of like peel and sticker paper, okay? So when I put this in place on my card, I'm not gonna need an iron to fuse it in place. I'm not gonna need glue to hold it in place, okay? It's going to stick right where I want it, and then I can just applique it, and I can just run the color stop to applique it, okay? So that's Applique Fuse and Fix. On the back of your applique pieces, cut out on the line, and then you'll have your pre-cut shape ready to go. So I'm gonna turn the camera to the machine so that you can see what is happening. Okay. So my heavyweight tearaway is in the hoop, like I said, and I ran the first color stop already into the stabilizer. So the first color stop is, it may be hard to see, is gonna give you a placement line, okay? It's gonna give you the size square that your card is. You're gonna take your card, you're going to unfold it, and you're going to lay it down right inside of, so it fills in that placement box. We're gonna use some tearaway tape, okay? Tearaway tape, the OESD tearaway tape does not have, doesn't leave any sticky residue behind, so we can just carefully tape this card to the stabilizer, right on the outside edge, just like that. So I have, maybe this will be easier. There we go. So I've taped down on 3 sides to make sure that my card doesn't move. And I'm gonna put my hoop on the machine and I'm gonna run my first color stop. And the first color stop, let me move that a little bit, is going to stitch me a placement line to tell me where to put this applique piece. So I've already threaded in the color that I want to use. I'm going to stitch my first color. Move this bottom piece of tape that I put here because it is right next to where it's going to stitch. I'm going to peel the paper off of the back of the applique shape so that it reveals the sticky. I'm going to come and I'm going to place it so that it is covering all of those. It's right inside of that placement line. Okay, so you can see. Get it over here. So I put it down right where all of the placement line happened. And then I'm going to run the color stop. The next color stop is going to tack this in place. Okay. Now, while this is running, you don't have to use this card collection. There are a lot of designs out there that you can use for embroidery on cards, and you have to look at stitch density. You can't have anything that's going to satin stitch, that's going to step fill in, that type of thing. So you're looking for designs that are running stitches, red work type files. So for example, this card, is a red work design card. The design is a red work design that was stitched with variegated thread. Okay, so it's a 1-color card that was embroidered. Okay, And there's the inside. This is a stamp. This was, my sister usually embroiders her cards, so we cover the inside with paper. Okay. And then you have your shape. Has been appliqued in place. And then we're going to change our color to the next color on the card. Oh, don't do that, Amy. Okay. Remember, you should always cut your thread at the top and pull through the needle. Okay, you don't want to pull in reverse on your machine. You're pulling back against the tension discs, and it can get caught on things and throw things off on your machine. So I know it's a habit you have to get used to, but it's a good one. Let's go ahead and stitch the next color stop. So yes, any embroidery design that's like red work could be used. I couldn't find any of my other cards that my sister has done in the past. She probably has them, and she can post pictures in the comments if she finds them. So the question is always, what do we do to cover, what did I do with them? The inside of the cards and cover up that mess. The first thing that you can do, and what most of us have done, is you take a piece of scrapbook paper, anything along that lines, and you cut it to size and glue it to the inside. Okay? So gluing this to the inside, I would not use what I refer to as a wet glue, because too much wet glue on a paper card will cause wrinkles and things along that lines. So this is, here's the card. Let's go this way. This is one of the other cards. And then on the inside, up atop, I just got a piece of cardstock, cut it to size, and I glued it in place. And I'm going to talk to you in a minute on how I glued it. You can use like tape runners, you know, the permanent stick tape runners that we use. You could use glue stick, but to be honest, the glue sticks, it takes quite a bit of glue stick to get it to really stick, and it doesn't last a long time. Now this card, I don't remember this card year, but I know that Wendy didn't have children at that time, so it's at least 5 years. This was done with the inside papers peeling off, but so it's a good probably 10 years old. But this is, I believe it was rubber cement. And rubber cement works well. You know, it'll get through, it will get through the holiday season for the most part. And I meant to grab my stamp that I have that I stamp on the back of my homemade cards that tells people that if they throw it away, that I'll harm them. Yeah, let's fix that thread. Okay. So rubber cement, I would not use white school glue, is what I would stay away from in that aspect. Okay. Now, the other thing to do for finishing the card here, we're gonna let that change the thread while I'm before I show the next card. Talk about the other way. There's this. Okay, So this is one of the cards that's in the collection. And what we did was I took the card, I embroidered it just like I'm doing now, except, hold on. I took the card and I cut it in half, okay? So I only embroidered on one part of the card. When it was finished, I went and fused it to another, we'll turn it right side up, to another piece of colored cardstock and then trimmed it down. And so that also covers up your wrong side, okay? And allows you to add a little bit of a color accent, that type of thing to the card. So there, and then there's this one as well. Okay, so again, and it also gives you a nice flat surface to use. I also think they'd be cute to just like frame. Like you could easily just frame this in a small frame, you know, if you had a small little entryway or something, or we're looking for something to hang in a small area. You can make your own custom envelopes. Okay, so those cards ended up being a custom size card. So I made my own envelope for them. One second. Going to turn off that cutter. So to make your own custom card envelope, I have here that will do the math for you and everything. So you have, this is an envelope board, okay? So on the board are the measurements. You look at what size the card you have is, and then it tells you what size piece of paper you need to cut, and then you can cut it and then follow the steps, and you can have your own custom envelope. Okay. Now, the other way to do this is, here is the card, okay? So this is one of the cards, and there's the inside. Okay. So what I did here is I did the same concept. I embroidered the card and then I cut it in half. I fused this to the front of another card. So it's hard to see, but there's another card here, just the front, that is fused to the front of that to cover up that raw edge or that raw stitching that's on the inside. I thought that was a really good idea as well for that. So that is another way to make the wrong side of your embroidery disappear. And it makes your cards go farther. Okay? Especially if you put them on a contrasting piece of cardstock to make another card. All of this information that I just told you about finishing the insides of your cards are in the pattern, okay? So all of the, making smaller cards are in here. The one thing that I did not get done, though, was, let's see if I can get it lined up. Look at that. An envelope. Let's get my finger where it belongs. There are a few designs on this collection. There's 10. Let me go get a piece, okay? That are just running stitch designs that there's kind of one that kind of coordinates with each collection. And so you could, let's see if you can see that, embroider the flap of the card, which I just thought was really, really genius. that's there. Okay, so the design is finished. I'm gonna trim a couple of threads. I turned the thread cutter off on the machine so that it didn't cut and jump. With the newer Berninas, you have a function called thread away. And if your thread away is turned on, which is fine, there's nothing wrong with thread away on, but if you don't tape your card down or anything like that, and the machine comes away and when it cuts the thread, the purpose of thread away is to free up the top thread before it starts stitching in the next place so that you don't get that thread tail doesn't become a jump stitch kind of that gets stitched in. So the machine swipes out and swipes back. And if this is just slightly curled or not taped down, you just take the chance of the foot grabbing a hold of that card. Okay, there's Rudolph. That's there. Okay. Now, when your design is finished, you take it out of the hoop. Okay. And peel off your tape carefully. Now, the stabilizer we used, again, remember, I told you was a heavyweight tearaway, okay? Just because it's a tearaway doesn't mean you should tear it off the back of your card, okay? So you still want to use a pair of scissors. These are very delicate stitches, okay? They're just straight stitches, so you can see. They're just straight stitches. So you want to get, for the most part, you want to get just away from the edge. You don't need to get in all of the nooks and crannies that are in there. I'm just going to kind of hold it as I tear it because this one's not quite as close to the edge. I'm going to cut up top here. Some of the other cards go really close. Oops, don't cut your card. Don't do what I just did. You're better off, to be honest, you're better off to cut this way so that you can see your card so that you don't cut it like I just did. That's okay. That just means he gets to become a smaller card later. So we're going to go through. A little bit of tape right there and he'll be good as new for the moment. Now what I would do is we need to clean this up. I'm not cutting any of this. I'm not trimming any of this. This is all staying just like it is. Okay. So if I wanted to take this, too far. I could cut this off and this becomes one piece. So let's go ahead. We're just going to do that. I'm going to cut this. Okay. Or tear it because it's been folded a lot. I'm going to get another card. Okay. Let me get a card. Oh, this one's too big. Oh, that's okay. I think I left my small cards at home, but the concept is the same. I'm going to fuse a product called Fuse and Seal. Okay. Let me get it out here. This is, let me come here. Fuse and Seal. Okay. I know. I need a bigger table. I know. This is Fuse and Seal. So Fuse and Seal is designed for. It is a clear product that goes on the back of, it's iron-on clear film. Let me get my words together here. It's what we use to fuse things to fabric without needing to sew them on. So we use this a lot for badges, patches, things like that. So my Girl Scouts and Boy Scouts out there, this is what you need if you don't want to sew them on. So I would cut a piece of Fuse and Seal to the size of my card, okay, that I am going to, or the size of my paper that I'm going to do. Let me just get all of this out of the way here. Now, I did not bring an iron over here. I'm going to take my pressing cloth. I'm going to lay my embroidery right side down onto my pressing cloth, okay? And then I'm going to cover the fusion seal, okay, with the paper side up, okay? And I'm going to iron it. So I'm going to have Mom come over here and iron it, okay? Or actually, you know what? I have my air closet. Let's see if you can walk with me. I'm not going to take the camera on video. I'm going to go over here. So this is what it'll look like, okay? And then once it cools, you peel off the paper. And you're gonna see it's kind of shiny, okay? Yep, there you go. And then I would take that and I would lay it on top of my other card, or the card front that I plan to use, and cover this with a pressing sheet, a piece of fabric, and then press. And then this will permanently fuse to your card, okay? So that's how these were all glued down to the cardboard, to the paper cardstock, okay? Yeah, if this product had been around 5-10 years ago, it would have been wonderful. This works way better than any glue stick or glue. And because then it's ready to go. You don't have to wait for glue to dry. Okay, so it is ingenious. I would have never even thought to use the Fusion Seal for that product. It's amazing, amazing. So that is embroidery on cards. It's not really difficult. It's actually a nice, easy embroidery. Most designs are, pretty easy. When I do press the card, thanks Wendy for saying that. When I do press the cards, while they're cooling on the iron, I do set something heavy on them just so that, paper themselves, when it's heated up, it wants to curl. But I didn't really find it with the Fusion Seal wanting to curl, but I did just set my, I have my clapper, my wood clapper. I just kind of set down on top of it while it cooled, and just to make sure that it didn't want to resist the want to curl. No steam, okay? You don't want to add water to paper because, that's not a good thing either. Yes, Miss Joanne, so do that instead of gluing the paper to it. Use this instead of glue. It's much, much faster and I think the overall look is much better because this Fusion Seal doesn't run, and glue, it's hard to get to the outside edge without it, squeezing out, and then it's all over the place, and then you fold your card in half and it's stuck to the other side of the card, and it's one challenge after the other. So it's nice with that Fusion Seal. Fusion Seal comes in packages, pre-cut packages, 8.5 by 11, and it also comes on a roll. I think it's like a 5-yard roll as well. So those products are available here in the store. So heavyweight tearaway. We used Applique Fusion Fix. We used Fusion Seal, okay? And we used a small needle, 75 and down, to embroider your cards. and choosing the right design. Like I said, it doesn't have to be this collection, and there's a lot. OESD has a few other celebration card designs on their website. Smith Street Designs has some cards as well. There's a ton of redwork designs on OESD's website, and like I said, that redwork design is what the one card, this was an OESD redwork design, okay? And like I said, variegated isocord, okay? Well, I don't know, I think this was polysheen. At the time, isocord didn't do variegated thread, and so now they do. Yes, it's an embroidery needle. It's a Sharp. It doesn't have to be embroidery, but it is I used a Sharp 7011 Oregon embroidery needle is what I used for today, but you could use a Microtex needle, 75, 70 as well, as long as it's a Sharp needle. This is OESD's tape, OESD's tearaway tape, okay? You can use Kimberbell's paper tape as well if you'd like to use that too. Just want something, you don't want to use Scotch tape, even painter's tape would work. Okay, and yeah, I think you've probably finished breakfast by now after that this morning. So I hope that I answered some questions, inspired you to maybe try some, holiday cards for this year, or even some birthday cards that with those collections. I know that the other card collection from OESD, excuse me, there's birthday, Mother's Day, baby showers, all sorts of things so that are on those collections. I look forward to seeing you next Saturday for Virtual Breakfast Club. We are going to be talking about chenille. Okay, so we're going to talk about the chenille strips or doing all over chenille panels. So we're going to cover the world of chenille next Saturday morning. So thank you everybody for joining me. I appreciate it. I look forward to seeing some cards this holiday season. Bye guys, have a great day.